So this video is sponsored by Squarespace. Given how serious today's topic is, I'm not going to interrupt the video later with a joke and a sponsorship segment. So let's finish our ad first. By now, you all know Squarespace is the best place to build your own website. Squarespace has supported this channel for the past few years, and in nearly every video, I whipped up a different website as a funny demonstration. The only reason I can do that consistently is because Squarespace makes the process simple. Start with a template, edit directly in the browser, check the help center for tutorials, browse other sites for inspiration. Everything I need is right there. This sounds a little weird, but the process is also really fun. But that might just be because you all react to my terrible jokes. But that's the thing about websites. When every detail is yours, your interaction with others feels more human. To find out if I'm a weirdo for saying all that, you can start your free trial at squarespace.com/accentinema. Use the code accentinema and you can get 10% off your first purchase. Thank you to Squarespace for supporting our channel, and now onto the show. There probably is no crime that has not been committed in this city today. 30 girls were taken from language school last night, and today I've heard scores of heartbreaking stories of girls who were taken from their homes last night. One of the girls was but 12 years old. It was December 1937. The Imperial Japanese Army had captured Nanjing, the then capital of the Republic of China. For the next 6 weeks, the Japanese army carried out mass killings of disarmed troops and civilians. Looting, arson, and rape were widespread, carried out with tacit approval from higher command. Fukui, whom I tried to find at the Japanese embassy to no avail all day yesterday, paid a call on me last night. He actually managed to threaten me. If the newspapers in Shanghai report bad things, you'll have the Japanese army against you. In these 6 weeks of hell on earth, hundreds of thousands were killed. It was one of the darkest chapters of World War II. Dead to Rights, or Nanjing Photo Studio in Chinese, is a 2025 war movie set during the Nanjing Massacre. The story follows a group of civilians taking refuge in a photo studio. They are forced by the Japanese army to develop propaganda photos. The film was both a critical and commercial success, becoming the third highest grossing Chinese film of 2025. The film was praised for its focus on ordinary civilians rather than larger-than-life heroes. Each character offers a different perspective. Some sell their labor, others sell their morality, all for the slim hope of surviving one more day. For this video, however, I want to approach the story from an unexpected angle, through the eyes of the antagonist, a Japanese photographer. Much like our civilian protagonist, he is an ordinary person, a non-combatant navigating a dangerous world. His journey through that labyrinth is what turns him into a monster. This is not a story about evil people, but about how evil takes root in ordinary ones. This is your spoiler warning. Follow me as we take a look at Dead to Rights and examine how evil manifests within us. The film begins with the fall of Nanjing. The Japanese army prepares to enter the city. Civilians rush to evacuate. Amid the chaos, we meet the antagonist, photographer Ito Hideo. Ito is young, awkward, and in a way, charming. There is a naivete to him, as if he doesn't yet understand the horrors of war. Almost immediately, evil begins pushing his boundaries. The Major is executing prisoners of war, a violation of military laws. He asks Ito to photograph the moment the bullet penetrates the skulls. Ito's reaction is to hide behind excuses. Bullets are too fast, he says. I have to change the film, he says. There is not enough light, he says. Ito is torn between obedience and conscience, and for that, he is punished. We'll come back to these excuses later. Punishment is only half the equation. Another officer arrives, offering Ito a prestigious assignment to photograph the general. It's an offer he accepts with a smile. In minutes, the film establishes its core dynamic: conscience versus ambition, punishments and rewards. This is what pulls Ito into the abyss. Ito's next assignment is a stage execution, a fake performance by a soldier and a sympathizer.
改变样子嘛，跟拍电影是一样的。
No one is harmed, it's only a performance. In this scene, Ito is ordered to kill a civilian. Instead of pulling the trigger, he stalls, checks his belongings, and realizes he works at a photo studio.
彼はこの写真館で働いてるのか。
Instead of killing him, Ito hires him to develop his propaganda photos. It seems Ito's conscience is drawing a line in the sand. Consciously or not, he is distancing himself from death. He is trying not to kill. Later, we see another photographer doing what Ito didn't do. He captures the exact moment someone is shot to death. Evidently, bullets are not too fast. This man is what Ito would be if he lacked a heart.
もう一枚行きましょうか。
And just like that, another life taken. This is who Ito begins as, a timid photographer with a conscience. When he sees his developed photo, there is a genuine smile. When he finds a roll of movie film, there is excitement.
戦争が終わったら僕も映画を撮ってみたい。
He is a regular person with a hobby and a dream. Knowing what he becomes, this is an uncomfortable realization. Soon, Ito grows accustomed to his role. Instead of death and destruction, he photographs landmarks and soldiers. There's no violence or death, just his love for the art. Soon, he garners some fame. Soldiers would ask him to take their photos, and thus, another important moment unfolds. Ito approaches, thinking it's another photo like the ones he had taken before. But when he steps closer, he sees dozens of decapitated heads on the ground, an image too graphic to be shown on YouTube. By the time Ito realizes what he is witnessing, it's too late to refuse. Evil pushes against his boundary once more. Instead of pretend execution, it's now real execution. So he presses the shutter. But it's okay, he can't stop what has already happened. He can still maintain his innocence. By the way, I have to praise the actor here. The slight hesitation as he raises the camera says so much with so little. It's some great acting. As with before, evil demands compliance, evil rewards obedience. Ito rises to prominence, his photos appear in newspapers, and he's praised by his fellow soldiers. This is important, as he knows the army is doing horrible things. But the more he's praised by the devil, the less he thinks about right and wrong. He grows angry when his photos are damaged. He gets excited to take photos for others, even for the major.
これで前回ご要望の写真を撮ることができます。
All he wants is more praise. He had forgotten that the praise came from the devil. The next time we see his work, it's nothing but executions and corpses. By now, we can all piece together the pattern. Ito's conscience is slowly eroded by punishments and rewards, each step bringing him closer to the line he once drew. His final obstacle, however, is especially sinister. To an addict, the greatest punishment is to take away his drugs. Facing international backlash, the Japanese military forbids the publishing of photos of executions and death. The colonel asks Ito whether the massacre photos were developed by a Chinese civilian, with the implication that he should replace the civilian and keep everything under wraps. Should those photos leak, Ito loses everything he's gained. And thus, Ito is forced to take aim just as before. But he can't do it. It's the one final line he has yet to cross. It seems his conscience finally pushes back hard enough. Having no use for the civilian, he issues him 2 travel passes, allowing him to leave Nanjing for safety. Unbeknownst to Ito, the man is a good person and gives the passes to other people. At the checkpoint, 2 people present his passes, hoping to finally leave this hell on earth behind. They are executed immediately.
この番号の人間が現れたらすぐに殺せ。
It was all a trap set up by Ito. I remember everyone's blood ran cold in the theater. After following these civilians for so long, we have grown attached to them. Considering one of them is a child, we expect some mercy, but the film nor history has such kindness. It seems Ito has not learned murder, but has grown accustomed to death. It is deeply disappointing to realize people are okay with murder as long as they themselves see no evil. At the moment of his plan unraveling, Ito turns violent. Desperate to destroy the negatives, he is ready to kill.
黒島殿、女は好きにしてください。
And so, he becomes no different from the Major. The utter madness in his eyes is our final insight into evil. The greed for more is strong, but stronger still is the fear of losing. Thanks to the sacrifice of many civilian lives, the photos were smuggled out of Nanjing. They were later used as key evidence in the Nanjing War Crimes Tribunal. Having lost his usefulness, Ito's life is forfeit. Fascism devalues human life, and that applies to fascists too. Maybe I'm just soft, but I keep remembering this scene. Ito is admiring some movie films and naively says,
戦争が終わったら僕も映画を撮ってみたい。
Around him are 3 Chinese people, none of whom has hope of escaping the war. At this moment, he believes that as long as he doesn't kill, he is not evil, and the people around him will not be harmed. Perhaps because I share the same dream, I can see a little bit of myself in him. That's what's frightening. Ito wasn't born a monster. He was shaped by a system that rewards compliance and punished resistance. Seeing his gradual descent into the abyss, I keep wondering if I'll fall the same way. Remember his first interaction with the Major? Put in his position, I'd likely react the same way. I don't know if or how I can do better. But as we have seen, it's not enough to stay away from evil. For every step you retreat, it advances. Eventually, it will corner you, and you will be taken. It's the banality of evil, and it must be resisted actively together. Upon release, Dead to Rights became a heated topic among political pundits. Some claim the film was fanning anti-Japanese sentiment. Considering the rapidly worsening relationship between China and Japan, I understand the concern, but I still find that claim a little silly. Internationally and even domestically, it's often inconvenient to bring up the Nanjing massacre. So inconvenient, I have to self-censor this video. This, however, gives room to Nanjing massacre denialism, a position held by Japanese nationalists asserting that the massacre is a fabrication or is overblown. People say that the Japanese made a Holocaust, says former governor of Tokyo Shintaro Ishihara, but that is not true. It is a story made up by the Chinese. The same sentiment is echoed by NHK governor Naoki Hyokuta, then mayor of Nagoya Takashi Kawamura, and former Justice Minister Shigeto Nagano, just to name a few. Meanwhile, the greater society of Japan treats them the same way Ito treats the major, keeping their distance without pushback. The denial also extends to other atrocities committed in many other Asian countries as well. Considering this context, I don't know if the movie is the thing that makes people angry. Of course, that's not to say that the Chinese audience didn't react with blind and blanketed anger. It's hard to have a measured response to such a horrific chapter of history. But even then, I think the movie needs to be made. Remember, when facing atrocities, the first thing Ito did was to look away. And there, he gave room for evil to take root. However inconvenient, this history must be told. Instead of blaming it for people's misplaced anger, show people what the film is actually doing. Monsters grow from ordinary hearts. At this moment, I think we all desperately need to remember this lesson.